Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. My name is Mike Ragland, and today I have the honor of presiding over the retirement ceremony for Lieutenant Colonel Rob Foker after 34 years of outstanding service to our nation and to our Air Force. Before I say a few words about Rob, I want to welcome those who are with us today in person, remotely, or in spirit. To our senior leaders, distinguished visitors, such as my friend, Colonel Brian Garino, commanders, chiefs, first sergeants, airmen of the 7th Intelligence Squadron, friends, colleagues, and most importantly, Rob's family, Terry, Aaron, and Robbie, welcome. Thank you all for spending your time with us today to make today truly a special one for Rob and his family. I also want to offer my personal thanks to everyone who had a hand in making today's ceremony possible. These are always difficult to pull off, and you only get one chance to get it right, and it means a lot. So thank you to everyone who has had a hand in today's special ceremony. Retirements are always a bittersweet thing to me. On the one hand, the Air Force is losing an officer and a leader. However, on the other hand, 34 years of service is an awful long time, and we all must make that transition when the moment is right. They told me that you'll know when the time is right, and it turned out that is the case, and today is the right time for Rob. Rob's goal today was to make this ceremony as short and sweet as possible. I'll do my best to honor that, and so rather than review all 34 years of his career and service in excruciating detail, I'm just going to hit some of the highlights and maybe share a few personal memories from my own time being assigned with Rob over the years. Rest assured, this is no easy task given the length of Rob's career, including 4 overseas tours, assignments in California, Nebraska, Texas, Florida, Maryland, and oh, by the way, he's deployed to hotspots around the world in combat at least 5 times. When Rob enlisted, it was 1986. Ronald Reagan was the president. Gasoline averaged about 89 cents a gallon, and Top Gun was the biggest movie of the year. People wore parachute pants and Madonna-inspired outfits. Breakdancing was popular, and the strategic landscape back then was much different than it is today, too. The Cold War was not yet over. A heavily guarded wall separated East Germany and West Germany, and our focus was squarely on the Soviet Union as a principal adversary. So Rob started off in this environment. He began the enlisted portion of his career as a communicator, where he was part of our nuclear command and control apparatus. After 2 assignments in this career field, he decided to cross-train into the intelligence career field. As an intelligence operations specialist, Rob served in a variety of missions to include flying operations with F-16s at Kunsan, the intelligence watch at the Strategic Air Command, airborne collection operations with the predecessor to what we now call DGS-2 or Distributed Ground Station 2, and integrating air operations with U.S. Army operations at Fort Hood, Texas. Now, the Fort Hood assignment was a little off the beaten path, but it turned out to be a very, very special one for Rob and his family. This is where he met Imelda, and they married, and it's also where their oldest son, Robbie, was born, so very special memory there. If all of this wasn't enough to keep him busy, Rob finished up his bachelor's degree, and he put in an application to a master's degree program with the Joint Military Intelligence College, or JMIC as we call it. Once he finished that up, while he was getting his master's degree, Rob became a senior non-commissioned officer, which is a sign of leadership opportunities to come. And when he finished up his master's degree, that's when I got to know Rob Foker. That happened when he was sent to the 325th Operations Support Squadron at Tyndall Air Force Base, Florida, where I was already assigned. Just a few memories from our time together there at Tyndall. It was apparent early on that Rob is very much a thinker. He was quick to use his new education that he had just received at JMIC, as well as his analytical thinking skills, and improve the quality of our airmen and the support to the mission that we provided and the academics that we taught to student pilots and air battle managers. It was also very apparent that Rob was a leader. I vividly remember one time Rob telling me and our flight commander politely that it was time for us to leave for the day. When I asked him why, he told me that, well, you officers get to have your officers' calls, so I've decided we're going to have enlisted calls for enlisted professional development for our airmen and NCOs, which I thought was fantastic. Rob also turned out to be a little bit of a prankster, especially in this assignment, but I'll let him tell you about the time that I took the blame for a prank that he orchestrated and didn't work out so well for me. That's a pretty funny story. It was finally apparent that Rob was hungry for additional challenges. Even though he had already had an accomplished career, he was a fantastic senior NCO, he decided to go for the next challenge, which was to put in an application for officer training school. Rob was accepted, and he earned his commission as a second lieutenant in November of 2000. Rob started the officer portion of his career after getting his commission at full speed. He was first assigned to the 25th Information Operations Squadron, which has a special operations mission. As he was in training for this particular assignment, he was on temporary duty out in New Mexico when our nation was attacked on the 11th of September 2001. Rob instinctively rushed back to Florida, knowing that the squadron needed him and that a deployment was soon in his future. However, he also knew that Imelda needed him as well, as she was about 6 months pregnant with their second son, Aaron. Aaron went on to be born in December of 2001, and by February of 2002, Rob was deployed to the Middle East for Operation Enduring Freedom and the Global War on Terror. Rob would go on to deploy again just a short time later for Operation Iraqi Freedom from that same assignment. So again, off to a brisk start as a young lieutenant. I've stayed in touch with Rob over his 20 years as an officer, both as a friend and as a mentor. And while we weren't stationed together subsequently after Tyndall, I've always followed the officer portion of his career from Japan to Germany to Nellis to the National Capital Region and all sorts of stops in between. During this time, Rob's work ethic and his character took him to the highest of highs professionally. Time and again, Rob demonstrated outstanding leadership in a variety of environments and different missions. This included the 82nd Reconnaissance Squadron in Okinawa, supporting RC-135 operations, where he also deployed to the Philippines and again to the Middle East. But he was still hungry for even more challenges. So Rob put in an application for the Air Force Weapons School, and he was selected to attend what was at the time a very new course to create weapons and tactics instructors for ISR operations missions. Upon graduating, he was sent to the 24th Intel Squadron at Germany, where he served as the weapons and tactics instructor for DGS-4, and yet again caught another deployment back to the Middle East. Rob's awesomeness at work had not gone unnoticed, though. He was asked to come back to the United States and teach at the Air Force Weapons School, an honor and a testament to Rob's expertise, his credibility, and his humility. While there, he started as a line instructor and eventually became the director of operations, or the number 2 leader in the squadron. Following that, he was asked by the 2-star general at the Air Force Warfare Center to be part of a new advanced integration weapons instructor course. This was a high visibility, high priority effort for the 2-star, and it's clear that he chose Rob because he absolutely needed the best of the best, and Rob was absolutely the perfect fit for that. Unfortunately, Rob also experienced the lowest of lows when his wife Imelda passed away after a long battle with cancer in 2016. This happened when Rob was assigned to the Air Staff at the Pentagon. Some of you may know that Rob even turned down consideration for Squadron Command when he was first eligible because he knew that his family needed him more than the Air Force at the time. With the support of his family, his friends, and the church, Rob continued to heal and be the best father that he could while still serving as an officer. In 2017, he was blessed to meet Terry, and they married the following year in early 2018. Also in 2018, Rob was blessed again, this time with his selection to be the commander of the 7th Intelligence Squadron at Fort Meade, Maryland. Now, I'm one of the folks that will tell you that Squadron Command is, in fact, the best job in the Air Force. And not only did Rob get the best job in the Air Force, but he got an absolutely phenomenal squadron in the 7th IS. I know this squadron personally from a personal assignment that I had at the 659th Group. And I can tell you personally, this is a great squadron, but it comes with its own leadership challenges for a couple of reasons. First is the sheer size. This is a big squadron. This is almost 500 people, to include uniformed military as well as civilians. And that's a lot to keep up with, even on the best days. To make things even more challenging, the airmen are spread out into work centers all over the place. They're not all concentrated in one location. So just keeping up with what the airmen are doing is difficult enough, but to be the leader and the commander of that, that's a special challenge. This is also a special squadron because it comes with a lot of important relationships with mission partners that can be very delicate at times, very nuanced, and it takes a skilled hand and true diplomacy to make that work right. And I think Rob has done a fantastic job with that during his time at the 7th. There are many other challenges, but the last one I'll mention is the nature of the mission requires in-depth, specialized technical expertise in both the space and cyber mission areas. This expertise is in short supply and in high demand by both government and industry. And it takes a special form of leadership to lead those airmen effectively. And Rob, I think you've done a fantastic job with that during your time as a squadron commander. Rob pretty much had the squadron where he wanted it about 6 months ago as the calendar year rolled over, and expected kind of a smooth glide slope to the summertime when he would be handing it off to his successor. But then, as we all know, 2020 began throwing us curveballs, one after another. First was the coronavirus and the associated economic impacts that came with that, along with widespread social tensions, political divisions, and societal unrest. Now, these events brought new and different leadership challenges that Rob has done a fantastic job with. He responded with innovative ways to keep people, one, working, and two, connected to the mission, but also connected to each other at the human being level. And I think that's important for a squadron commander to do. Rob, please know that you have my utmost respect for what you and your airmen have accomplished in the 7th Intel Squadron during your time in command. I also want you to know that I've enjoyed living vicariously through you and your success over the last 20 years. I'm proud to call you a friend and a comrade, and I feel very fortunate that we'll get to continue serving together in a different capacity very soon. Congratulations to you and your family, and sincere thanks on behalf of our nation and our Air Force for your amazing career of outstanding service. Thank you.
Colonel Ragland, thank you so much for your generous and kind words. You've been a longtime mentor and friend to me for much of my career, inspired me to pursue a commission, and instilled in me the desire to be an intelligence weapons instructor. I hope you will continue to remain a friend and mentor, and I look forward to working with you in this next chapter of my career. Welcome to our distinguished guests, Tigers, friends, and family who are in attendance. I appreciate your being here today, regardless of whether your attendance is in person or virtual. Your support and patience over these many years have enabled me to serve in the Air Force, and I greatly appreciate you sharing this event with me today. I am blessed with so much in this life, and I thank God and His Son, my Savior, for all the blessings I enjoy and for providing the strength to survive the challenges I've faced. I have prayed much during my career. Will continue to do so, and ask you all to keep me and my family in your prayers too. I don't have the words or the time today to express my sincere, heartfelt thanks and respect for all those I've had the honor and privilege of serving in this great Air Force. So please forgive me as I ramble and stumble over my remarks. Rather than try to remember anything I say today, I hope I leave you with a feeling of the emotion of this event, how much it means to me, and most importantly, how much you all mean to me. I'm an emotional person, and will probably get a bit too nostalgic today. That's okay. Today is bittersweet. I'm leaving a life and career I've known for most of my adult life. However, this isn't a funeral. It's a time to celebrate with each other, and more importantly, for me to express my thanks. I'm also excited about the opportunities that await my family and me, and I look forward to continuing to try to make a positive impact on the warfighter in my new role. Before I get too deep into my remarks, I acknowledge that today's ceremony did not occur by happenstance. Rather, it took a significant effort by those who willingly take on the extra burden in addition to their assigned responsibilities, especially given the restraints caused by the pandemic. Therefore, I publicly recognize and thank the McGill Training Center staff, Staff Sergeant Mallinson for that great rendition of our national anthem, Chaplain Jonathan Hurt, not only for the invocation today, but for coming to my office in the first week of me taking command and praying with me that I would serve my squadron well. Captain John Runge, Captain Trent Blair, thank you so much for leading this effort. I'm sure there are many others who I failed to mention. Nevertheless, please join me in giving a round of applause and a special thanks to those who've made this event possible today. Speaking of people who I need to thank, I was blessed to learn from so many others in my career. I found an Air Force family in every assignment, and I'm honored that so many of you from so many different assignments are in attendance, either in person or virtually. I look forward to catching up, either today or soon. The vast experiences and variety of perspectives you shared with me have shaped the person I am today, for better or worse. Specifically, I'm honored to have ended my Air Force career with the Tigers of the 7th Intelligence Squadron. There has been no greater sense of Air Force family than what Terry and I experienced right here. As a parting gift to you all to show our appreciation, Terry and I are donating 2 custom trophy cases to house all the awards the squadron has accumulated since its inception. I apologize the work isn't finished, but I'll arrange for delivery next month. I've also been blessed to have a church family wherever we went, and I'm honored to see many of you here today. Our church family has always provided a critical pillar of support and set the example of Christian love and action, which I've tried to apply in every area of my life. I've been blessed to have 2 strong church families while living and serving in the National Capital Region. The Manassas Church of Christ rallied to my family and my side, while Imelda fought and eventually lost her long battle with cancer. Your loving servant spirit was a lesson I took with me while in command and will continue the rest of my life. Likewise, the Laurel Church of Christ rallied to provide the love and support we needed when Terry went through her surgery and long recovery, and again when I had my surgery and complicated recovery. No matter where we were assigned, our church family was there to bolster my faith when it was under attack, provide physical, emotional, and spiritual support when I needed it the most, and fill the gaps when my Air Force family or biological family were unavailable. Thirdly, I'm blessed to have the love of a large personal family, most of whom are attending virtually. I appreciate the unwavering support that my brothers and sisters and their spouses, Mike and Amy, Melanie and Steve, Patrick and Crystal, Stephanie and Chris, and Matthew and Ashley, provided during my time in command and throughout my entire career. And although I left them to join the Air Force, they provided the deep roots I needed to survive the tough times. They've always given me and my immediate family stability and loved us unconditionally. I love you all and look forward to spending more time together. Robbie and Aaron, I have taken you both through a lot while on this journey. The Air Force, for me, was a decision. You didn't make that decision. I made it for you and saddled you both with a heavy burden. Yet you persevered with the help of your mother's love. I'm so proud of the example you set every day in your lives. Please accept these small gifts as a symbol of my love and appreciation for you both. I also thank your late mother and my late wife, Imelda. She loved being your mom. She also sacrificed a lot for you, me, and this nation, her adopted country. Her legacy lives on in you both, so live proudly and deliberately. Terry, I love you. I realize how blessed I am to have you, your daughter, and your brothers and sisters in my life now. And although your time as an Air Force wife has been short, it has been intense. Thank you so much for your love and support. For these past 2 years, you've humbly and patiently taken a back seat to everything and everyone else in my life. I couldn't have asked for a more supportive partner in this great adventure. I love you, am proud of you, and look forward to continuing our journey together in this great life. Please accept these flowers from me as a small token of my love and appreciation for all you've done for me and our Air Force. So before I continue, let me again recognize and appreciate how important my Air Force family, church family, and personal family are to helping me maintain the mental, spiritual, social, and physical pillars that have kept me resilient, grounded, and loved. During my career, I've enlisted, cross-trained, commissioned, had 24 assignments, 5 deployments, countless TDYs, and traveled to over 30 countries. I joined during the Cold War, was witness to the success of Operation Desert Storm, reported on the fall of the Berlin Wall and collapse of the Soviet Union, and fought in a global war on terror. However, I won't bore you with a laundry list of things I've done in my career. Colonel Ragland has already embellished my record enough today, so I'll save my war stories for another time. Instead, I'd like to share briefly a few more lessons learned, what I'll miss the most, and what I'm looking forward to in the days to come. First, to those of you who maybe didn't get off to a great start in life, it's okay. Be persistent and keep working to better yourself. More important than where you've been is where you're going. I enlisted in the Air Force in 1986. My original desire to join the military service was not due to some great calling to patriotism. Rather, I was failing in life. I wasn't making much money, working part-time jobs, and I had a 1.75 GPA in my first year of college. I lost my scholarships and didn't have the money to pay for college on my own. So I thought the military would provide some opportunities and much needed discipline in my life. I intended to serve 4 years, complete my bachelor's degree, and then move on to something more profitable in civilian life. 12 years later, I finally completed my bachelor's degree. Although it took me longer than it should, I finished my degree and then completed my master's degree the following year. Second, the most important decision you can make is who you work for and who you serve with. Over time, I developed a greater appreciation for military service. I enjoyed what I was doing, liked the new experiences that came with every assignment, but more importantly, I truly respected and bonded with the people I served. When I was younger, I sought out the sexy, cool jobs and/or the fun, exotic locations. However, as I grew older, I valued the people I worked with more. Being part of a great team is key to making every assignment a meaningful one. I understand that in the military, we often don't get the privilege of choosing who we work for and who we work with. Nevertheless, you can contribute to their development. So if you find yourself serving with people who you don't think meet your standards, whether in character or competence, do what you can to make others around you better and help them become the team members that you're proud to serve with. As you're doing so, don't forget to take a hard look at yourself. Commit to self-improvement to become the team member and leader that everyone is proud to serve with too. Now, before I share with you what I'll miss, let me share with you a few things that I won't miss about the Air Force. I won't miss officer stratifications, unnecessarily restrictive AFIs that limit my authority to delegate, the bureaucratic exception to policy memos, or, as much as I respect and love all those who served as first sergeants, I won't miss the late night calls from the first sergeant. I won't miss the long work days, TDYs, and deployments that took me away from my family. But I will miss all of you. So, a lot of people are asking me, what's next? Well, I don't want to miss all of you. I have loved being an airman. I have had some of the best times in my life serving in the Air Force. I have made lifelong friends who I treasure and with whom I want to stay connected. I want to keep my Air Force, church, and personal families intact. Thus, I plan to stay involved in all 3 families, Air Force, personal, and church, albeit in a different role and with a more balanced approach. So I will keep Christ the focus of my life to help me better balance and invest more time with and grow the relationships in my personal family, increase my volunteer work with the help of my church family, and continue to make a positive impact on the warfighter by staying connected to my Air Force family. No matter which of these three families you are a part of, I hope you will all remain connected with me as Terry and I begin this next chapter in our lives. I can make this transition confident in the knowledge that I'm leaving the Air Force in your good hands. The passion, knowledge, and skill that you possess are unmatched. The airmen of today are smarter, more empathetic, and more skilled than I ever was. Our Air Force has never been more lethal and effective, and our adversaries know this. They don't want to compete in the traditional space. Therefore, they seek opportunities to make gains by hiding in the shadows and operating in the gray zone. However, you are not only shining the light and exposing their malign actions, you are solving the wicked problems that our military and nation face, and competing wherever our adversaries arise, regardless of whether you are asked to degrade an adversary's IADs, secure our elections, overcome attempts to worsen and exploit a global pandemic, or ensure the equal application of justice within our military justice system. You answer our nation's call to action. Thank you for epitomizing all that is right and good in the Air Force. I am amazed by you all. May God bless you, our Air Force, and the United States of America.